Hi guys, it's Beth with Bourbon Creek Crafts and welcome back to my channel. If you happen to come over here from my blog post, then welcome. I am sharing my cards made with the August 2020 Flavor of the Month card kit that is debuting this weekend from Scrapping for Less. This is part of the monthly hop that Scrapping for Less has, where all the designers create some cards using the newest kit so that you all can hopefully get some inspiration to use your kit. I have all of my pieces pre-cut and all of my images pre-colored today just to kind of speed this along since there are other videos in this hop. I didn't want it to be too long. If you check out my blog post, there is more detail about what comes in each collection of this month's kit, so you can get more detail on that, what's included in the banana split level as well. And there will also be the hop link for you to continue on to the next blog post in the hop. For my very first card, I'm using collection number 1, and it is called Bubbles in the Tub. And I am using the Freshly Made Sketches number 102, which is at the bottom right of the sketch sheet that is available to download from the Scrapping Less website. And I cut like a 2-inch panel of that rubber duck pattern paper and backed it on white as my main pattern element on the card, and then just used some yellow cardstock that came in the kit to make my card mat. At least I did remember to add my ribbon to my card mat before I placed it on the card, which is a win for me because I always forget to do that. Here I am just adding some scrap cardstock at the bottom of my pattern paper panel there, just so that when I lay my oval down, it's not going to droop off of the edge. I tried to use a scrap that I had left from the kit to tie my bow for the card, but it just wasn't big enough. So luckily I had some very similar ribbon in my stash and pulled it out to get a bigger piece so that I could make my bow. And I am not tying my bow onto the card, I am just adhering it directly on top of the ribbon that's there, kind of partially onto the ribbon and partially onto my oval element with the stamped image. I used the same collection when I did my sneak peek video last Sunday, and when I was making that card, I thought that this collection would be super cute for some baby congratulations cards or welcome baby cards. So I did pull a stamp out of my stash that says welcome baby. This is not part of the kit. I apologize for that, but I really wanted to make a baby card with this collection. I don't have any in my stash right now, and I thought this would be a great gender neutral one to have on hand. So I did pull that sentiment out of my stash. Here again, I just used some scraps to kind of even up where my sentiment is going to sit at the top since it hangs off of the rubber duck panel there. And then I decided it needed just a little bit something more, so I pulled out the sequins that came in the banana split level add-on for this month's kit, and they are just some kind of white iridescent, or opaque, not iridescent, but like a white opaque sequin. And I'm just using my Nouveau glue to add those down there at the bottom left. And that is it for card number 1. For card number 2, I am going to be using the Country Bubbles collection, which is collection number 2. And I'm also using the Lisa Stamp Studio sketch, which is the bottom left of this month's sketch sheet. And I apologize, this segment is a little blurry. I'm not sure why my camera didn't focus very well, but you will see the finished card better at the end. But I used one of the pieces of turquoise cardstock that came in the kit for my card base, and then just used some white cardstock to match that little bubble pattern panel there. And then in the kit, there were some ephemera pieces, and I chose the 2 little speech bubbles, and one of them says, "Why did the bubble gum cross the road?" And then the other says, "Because it was stuck to the bottom of the chicken's foot." So I thought, I love a corny joke. I'm a huge fan of like dad type jokes. My daughters roll their eyes and sigh at me all the time. But with the chicken that's blowing the bubble, I just thought that the little joke was going to be super cute. And I know exactly who I'm sending this card to. It's going to my dad, who is also a lover of corny jokes. But I'm using my Nuvo to add the little speech bubbles down now that I finally figured out how I want to place them. And then I'm going to pull out the enamel dots that came in this collection, and they're pink, and I'm using the three of the medium size at the bottom right there, and then 2 of the tiny ones up at the top left. And that is my second card for you today. Oh, and I'm adding in a white panel on the inside just so I have something kind of brighter to write on instead of the turquoise. And now that is my second card for today. Card number 3 uses the collection number 3, which is Sea Wishes. And this time I'm using the Scrapping for Less sketch, which is at the top left of the sketch sheet. And I'm using the light blue wave paper as well as a darker blue polka dot. And I modified this sketch just a little bit because of my white panel with my image on it. Like, I knew my image wasn't going to be a square without a whole lot of white space either at the top or the bottom, and so I went ahead and cut it into a rectangle. And I think I made my blue polka dot panel a little wider also, knowing that fishscape image was going to be wider than the 3 1/4 that the sketch called for. Since my image ended up being a rectangle instead of a square, I decided to use that last piece of ribbon that I had left from the kit at the bottom of my polka dot panel. And again, am adhering some score tape on the back side just to make sure that the ribbon will adhere down to my card mat. So now that that's down, I can add my colored image, and I also used the Celebrate Today sentiment, which came with the stamp set as well. And I'm trying to figure out, I decided the card needed just a little bit more, so I pulled out the sequins that came in this collection and pulled out it's a darker blue. And now I'm just trying to figure out, where do I want them? Do I want them right under the polka dot panel? Do I want them at the bottom? So I also decided to add a bow, and then this bow I really struggled with. I feel like my youngest daughter who's trying to learn to tie her shoes. It's a struggle. And I totally struggled with this bow. But I finally get it looking decent and workable, and just need to tighten it up and trim it up. And again, I'm just going to glue it right on top of the ribbon strip on my card. I'm not going to tie it on or anything. I changed my mind about where I wanted the sequins, so I moved them up right beneath that polka dot panel. And I'm going to use my Nuvo glue again to put my bow on my ribbon. And then these sequins are really cool. I love these sequins that come in the kits. They're like a spiral design, so they've got like a little bit of detail to them. But I decided to add my glue directly to the back of the sequins this time, just because they are a spiral and they do have a little curvature to them, and I wanted to make sure my glue distributed evenly. But there's my third card for today. For my fourth and final card, I am using collection number 4, which is called Bubbles Galore. And for my card mat, I chose to use the back side of one of the bubble patterns in this collection as my card mat. I chose like a light green, and then I chose a bubble pattern that is kind of a similar color pattern with the ombre green and yellow to be my focal element. And this card is very simple. I'm not using a card sketch, but there's some bright colors, so I just thought that simple would be good this time. I'm using an ephemera piece from the collection, and it says, "May all your troubles be bubbles." And if you've watched my channel for a while, you know I don't use foam very often, so this is a special occasion for me. I decided that ephemera piece needed to be popped up a little bit, so I pulled out some 3D foam squares that I got from Scrapping for Less and added those to the back side of that ephemera banner. And then I was going to use the enamel dots that came in this collection, but they were just the wrong shade. So I pulled out a scrap of white cardstock and am borrowing Christy Marcotte's signature move of adding a little fishtail banner at the top of that patterned paper banner, just to kind of balance it out a little bit. And that is my final card. But I hope you guys have enjoyed the inspiration today. Again, you can hop over to my blog post, which will be linked below, to get more details about the kit contents and more information about the hop. I will also link the next person in the hop in the description box below, and the subscription link to Scrap Paint for Less card kits in the description box below, because if you are interested, I suggest you go ahead and subscribe now, because they do sell out very quickly these days. But I thank you guys so much for your time today, and I hope you're all having a very crafty day.